Dexter Resurrection Season 2. When we talk about Dexter Resurrection, we're talking about more than just a revival, it's a reinvention that has successfully reignited a franchise. Once thought to be over, Season 1 gave fans something they had been craving for years, a continuation of Dexter's story that wasn't afraid to embrace the messy, complicated, and chilling nature of his character. But with the finale leaving threads deliberately untied, Season 2 now feels like the real test. This is where the writers get to prove if Resurrection is truly built to last, or if it risks falling into the same trap that doomed Dexter in its later original seasons. From the moment the project was announced, showrunners made it clear that Resurrection was designed to run for multiple seasons. Unlike New Blood, which was conceived as a limited epilogue, Resurrection carries the weight of being the definitive continuation. That decision changes everything. It means storylines aren't rushed to a conclusion, character arcs can breathe, and new antagonists can be developed with the same depth and patience that made early Dexter so unforgettable. But at the same time, it raises expectations sky high. Fans aren't just here to watch more of the same, they want twists, they want unpredictability, and they want the kind of psychological tension that leaves you questioning every character's motives, and that's exactly where Season 2 comes into play. Already, there are whispers about the direction of the new season. Will Dexter's cover hold? Or will the walls finally close in around him again? One of the biggest themes that Resurrection has explored so far is the idea of survival. Not just in the literal sense of avoiding capture, but in the emotional sense of living with guilt, secrets, and the constant weight of his dark passenger. Season 1 ended with Dexter in a position that was stable but fragile, stable enough to move forward, but fragile enough that one wrong move could bring everything crashing down. That tension is what makes the setup for Season 2 so electrifying. Behind the scenes, fans can take comfort in knowing that the creative team isn't improvising as they go. Co-showrunner Scott Reynolds has openly confirmed that they already have the long-term blueprint mapped out. In fact, the number of seasons has been discussed, and while not officially disclosed, it shows that Resurrection isn't stumbling in the dark. This isn't about dragging a story on for profit, it's about building a layered, intentional narrative with a clear endgame. That's something the franchise desperately needed after the backlash to Dexter's original finale years ago. Now, instead of questioning whether the show knows where it's headed, fans can focus on enjoying the ride. But with every great plan comes great risk. Hollywood is nothing if not unpredictable, as we saw with Dexter. Original Sin, even projects with strong viewership and solid reception can find themselves axed unexpectedly due to shifting strategies at the top. That cancellation is still fresh in the minds of fans, and it looms like a shadow over Resurrection's future. Could history repeat itself? The difference here is critical. While Original Sin was a prequel operating in the margins of the story, Resurrection is the beating heart of the franchise. Canceling it would mean turning off the main engine that keeps Dexter alive as a cultural phenomenon. That reality makes Season 2 not just likely, but necessary. Still, anticipation isn't the same as confirmation. Fans are hungry for official news, and every day that passes without a public renewal announcement fuels more speculation. It's important to remember that studios rarely rush these announcements. Contracts, budgets, and executive decisions all play a role, and timing often has more to do with business than storytelling. But make no mistake, the signs are pointing toward a Season 2 that is already in motion. Behind the curtain, the writer's room has been reported to be opening soon, which means scripts are either being drafted or about to be. That alone should give fans confidence that Resurrection's story is far from over. So the real question becomes, what direction will Season 2 take? Will it dive deeper into Dexter's internal struggles, giving us more of the psychological warfare that defined the best seasons of the show, or will it lean into external threats, introducing a new adversary capable of matching Dexter's intelligence and ruthlessness? Either way, what makes this continuation thrilling is that nothing feels safe. Every ally could become a liability, every secret could be exposed, and every step forward could bring Dexter one step closer to destruction. That balance between control and chaos is what keeps fans hooked, and Season 2 promises to walk that razor's edge with even more intensity. In the end, one thing is clear: Dexter Resurrection Season 2 isn't just about continuing the story, it's about cementing the franchise's legacy. The first season proved it could bring Dexter back in a way that felt authentic, gripping, and worthy of the name. Now, the second season has the chance to prove that this resurrection isn't temporary. It's permanent, and as long as Dexter's dark passenger is still whispering in his ear, fans can be sure of one thing: the blood isn't dry yet. The fascinating thing about Dexter Resurrection is how it's already rewritten the rules of what fans can expect from this universe. In the original run, Dexter lived a double life: blood spatter analyst by day, vigilante killer by night. New Blood shifted that formula, focusing more on his attempt to leave that life behind, only for it to come crashing back in the most tragic way. Resurrection, however, plants him in uncharted territory. This isn't the same Dexter who was constantly one slip away from Miami Metro discovering his secret. This is a Dexter who's been pulled back into the light after years in the shadows, forced to exist in a world that's moved on without him. That difference changes everything, and Season 2 is where we'll see the full impact of it. One of the most intriguing possibilities is how the show will explore Dexter's relationships, or what's left of them. For years, Dexter's strength and weakness both came from the people he let into his life: Rita, Deb, Harrison. Even colleagues like Batista and Masuka, they all shaped his choices, whether he admitted it or not. Resurrection Season 1 teased new bonds but never fully let Dexter settle. That's intentional. It leaves the door wide open for Season 2 to ask the bigger question: can Dexter ever truly connect without endangering everything? The tension of wanting closeness but fearing exposure has always been at the heart of his character. If Season 2 pushes him into more personal entanglements, it could set up devastating consequences later, and of course, no Dexter season would be complete without a worthy adversary. That's the beating core of the show: the cat and mouse dynamic between Dexter and a villain who can challenge him in ways no ordinary detective ever could. From Trinity to Miguel Prado, this series has always thrived when the antagonist isn't just dangerous, but mirrors some part of Dexter himself. Resurrection Season 2 has the perfect opportunity to introduce a nemesis that pushes him to the edge, not just physically but psychologically. Will this adversary be someone new, or will it be a ghost from the past? Fans are already buzzing about potential callbacks, from surviving characters to echoes of old cases. The writers know the weight of expectation here, and if they play it right, Season 2 could deliver another iconic rivalry on par with the greats of the franchise. What makes all of this so thrilling is the knowledge that nothing is guaranteed. Resurrection has proven it's not afraid to take risks: the death of a character, the sudden twist of an investigation, the shocking reveal of a hidden connection. It's all fair game. That unpredictability is what gives the show its edge. In Season 2, we should expect that same energy dialed up even higher. It's no longer about simply re-establishing Dexter as a character. That work is done. Now it's about testing how far he can go before everything collapses around him. Every episode has the potential to shatter the delicate balance he's built, and fans know better than to trust that safety will last. Another key layer to watch in Season 2 is the evolution of Dexter's own code. From the beginning, Harry's code was the guiding principle that kept Dexter from complete chaos. It gave him rules, boundaries, and just enough structure to function in society. But over the years, fans have watched him bend, twist, and outright break those rules when it suited him. Resurrection has already started questioning whether the code even matters anymore, or if Dexter is just using it as an excuse to do what he would have done anyway. That moral ambiguity will only grow sharper in Season 2 if the writers lean into it. We could see Dexter confronting not just external enemies, but the terrifying possibility that his entire code was built on lies he told himself. That's the kind of internal war that makes for powerful television. Behind all the speculation and theorizing, what fans really crave is resolution, answers to the lingering questions Season 1 left behind. Who can Dexter truly trust? How long can he keep his double life intact this time? And most importantly, how will this chapter of his story ultimately connect to the larger legacy of the franchise? Every move in Season 2 will either bring him closer to redemption or drag him deeper into damnation. But perhaps the most compelling part of Season 2 is its potential to surprise even the most seasoned Dexter fans. Viewers who have followed this story from the very beginning know the patterns, the tells, the familiar beats of a Dexter arc. The writers are aware of this too. That's why Resurrection has worked so hard to flip expectations, because a predictable Dexter is a dead Dexter. Season 2 has the opportunity to break those patterns entirely, setting up a story where even long-time fans can't see what's coming next. That unpredictability is what will make this season unforgettable. At its core, Dexter Resurrection Season 2 isn't just about keeping a killer's secret. It's about pushing the boundaries of how far that secret can stretch before it snaps. Every lie, every calculated risk, every careful move Dexter makes is another thread pulled tight. And eventually, something has to give. Season 2 promises to bring us closer to that breaking point. And fans wouldn't have it any other way. One of the most overlooked but fascinating parts of Dexter's story has always been the way the world around him evolves. Miami Metro in the early seasons felt like a character of its own, always closing in always one misstep away from pulling back the curtain on Dexter's secret life. New blood flipped that by isolating him in a small town, stripping away the noise and forcing him to live a quieter existence that eventually exploded in tragedy. Resurrection sits in a unique middle ground. It acknowledges the history of the character while building an entirely new ecosystem of danger, opportunity, and temptation. Season 2 will be where we see just how much this new world shapes him, and how much it resists his attempts to control it. The tension here is delicious because Dexter has never been someone who thrives in stability. Even when everything appears calm on the surface, chaos always lurks just beneath. Season 1 reminded fans of this truth. Dexter may try to reinvent himself, but his dark passenger never sleeps. Season 2 has the chance to drive that theme home. In even more brutal fashion, the more Dexter tries to create order through relationships, routines, or carefully planned kills, the more disorder inevitably follows. It's that constant push and pull that keeps audiences glued to the screen. They know something will go wrong. The only question is when, and how devastating the fallout will be. Another area fans are hungry to see expanded is the ripple effect of Dexter's actions in every version of the show. The people around him have been both shields and threats. Deb discovered the truth and was destroyed by it. Rita was a tragic casualty of Dexter's double life. Harrison inherited more than Dexter ever wanted to admit. In Resurrection, that pattern is destined to continue. Season 2 could give us new characters drawn into Dexter's orbit, unaware of the danger therein until it's too late, and it could also bring back familiar names from the past, characters who remember Dexter not as the man he pretends to be, but as the ghost of blood and secrets he left behind. That kind of reappearance would immediately destabilize his carefully constructed facade, forcing him to make impossible choices. And then there's the matter of legacy. Every killer on the show has had a legacy of sorts, from Trinity's twisted family dynamic to the Bay Harbor Butchers' infamy. But Dexter's legacy has always been more complicated. He wants to be remembered as a father, a partner, maybe even a hero in some warped way. Yet deep down, he knows what he really is. Resurrection Season 2 has the perfect opportunity to peel back those layers even further. Is Dexter still convincing himself that he's serving justice? Or has he finally accepted that he kills because he wants to? Fans have debated this question for years, and the second season might finally put it to rest or twist it into something even darker. Of course, no discussion of Season 2 can ignore the looming threat of exposure. Resurrection Season 1 ended without Dexter's identity being fully revealed, but that secrecy can't last forever. One of the show's greatest strengths is its ability to build unbearable tension around discovery. A character notices something small, a detail doesn't add up, and suddenly Dexter is scrambling to plug holes in his story. That constant dance between hunter and hunted is what keeps the narrative sharp. Season 2 has all the tools to make this cat and mouse game even more intense, especially if someone from his past resurfaces with knowledge that could blow everything apart. There's also the question of how far the show is willing to go in terms of consequences. Dexter as a character has always existed in a moral gray zone, but Resurrection has an opportunity to push him into even darker territory. Will he cross lines that even longtime fans never thought he'd cross? Will he take out someone close to him in order to protect himself? These are the kinds of brutal, gut-punch decisions that made the best seasons of Dexter so unforgettable. If Season 2 dares to take those risks, it could deliver the kind of storytelling that sparks endless debate and leaves fans reeling long after the credits roll. But what makes all of this so compelling is that, at the heart of the chaos, Dexter is still a character viewers can't quite let go of. He's a monster, but he's our monster. Season 2 has the responsibility of keeping that balance intact, showing us the darkness in all its horrifying glory, while still giving us just enough humanity to keep rooting for him. It's a delicate line to walk, and if the writers nail it, the payoff will be enormous. At this stage, every hint, every rumor, and every theory surrounding Resurrection Season 2 feels like a piece of a puzzle that fans are desperate to solve. The writers know this, and they're leaning into it. They're crafting a story that doesn't just continue Dexter's journey but challenges fans to confront why they've stuck with him for so long. Is it because we believe he can change? Or because deep down we enjoy watching the mask slip? Season 2 will force those questions back into the spotlight, and the answers won't be easy. One thing's certain, the comfort zone is gone. Season 1 might have been about rebuilding, but Season 2 will be about dismantling every safety net Dexter thought he had will be tested. Every lie he's told will face the threat of exposure, and every moment of control will teeter on the edge of collapse for fans. That's the ultimate thrill, the knowledge that at any second, everything Dexter has fought to maintain could vanish in an instant. The deeper we dive into Dexter Resurrection, the clearer it becomes that Season 2 won't just be about Dexter staying one step ahead. It'll be about the walls finally pressing in from all directions. Because as much as Dexter prides himself on control, the truth is that every version of his story has ended with that control slipping through his fingers. Season 2 has a unique opportunity to explore that spiral in a way we've never quite seen before. Not just Dexter versus an enemy, not just Dexter hiding from the law, but Dexter at war with every force internal and external closing in at once. That's the storm that's been quietly brewing since the very first episode of Resurrection. And now it's ready to break. A major theme likely to dominate Season 2 is exposure. Fans know the game by now. Dexter hides in plain sight, confident in his ability to outsmart everyone, only to be blindsided by someone noticing the wrong detail or asking the right question. In Resurrection, the stakes are higher than ever because the illusion has already cracked. He's not starting fresh. He's not reinventing himself. He's a man who's been through hell, dragged back into a spotlight he can't fully escape. And every move he makes carries the risk of unraveling his entire existence. Season 2 could lean hard into this by giving one character just enough suspicion to become a serious threat. That slow burn, the kind where someone starts piecing together Dexter's true nature, is exactly what keeps fans glued to their screens. But exposure isn't the only danger lurking. Dexter has always been defined by his ability to adapt, to change his methods when cornered. Yet every adaptation comes at a cost. Each time he bends his code, each time he kills outside the boundaries he swore to follow, the weight of those decisions grows heavier. Resurrection Season 1 already hinted at cracks in his justification system. Those quiet moments where Dexter almost admitted the truth, that his code was less about justice and more about convenience. Season 2 has the chance to rip that comfort away entirely. If Dexter is forced into situations where the code no longer protects him, where killing becomes not a choice but a necessity for survival, then the very foundation of who he believes himself to be will crumble. That's when the story gets dangerous, not just for Dexter but for anyone unlucky enough to be in his orbit. What fans need to prepare for is escalation. Dexter's enemies will get smarter. His lies will grow harder to maintain, and the blood he sheds will be harder to justify. That's the natural progression of the story, and the writers know it. They've spent years studying what worked in the original series and what didn't. Season 2 isn't just about telling more of the same. It's about building on those lessons to create something sharper, darker, and more relentless. We're not going to get the safe, formulaic Dexter who solves his problems neatly by the end of every episode. Instead, Season 2 will likely embrace the mess, letting problems pile up until the pressure becomes unbearable. And that pressure won't just come from outside forces. One of the most haunting aspects of Resurrection is the way it's peeled back layers of Dexter's psyche, showing you as a man who's older, more worn down, and far less invincible than he used to be. He's haunted by the ghosts of everyone he's lost: Deb, Rita, LaGuerta, even Harrison. Those voices may not physically return, but they echo in every decision he makes. Season 2 could take this even further, blurring the line between Dexter's reality and the shadows of his guilt. Fans know how powerful the series becomes when it leans into that psychological territory, forcing Dexter to confront not just the people he's lost but the truth about why he lost them. Another angle to consider is the way Resurrection has positioned Dexter within a larger power struggle. He's not the only one with secrets. He's not the only predator in the room. Season 2 might lean into this by surrounding him with characters whose own dark sides complicate the story. Imagine a world where Dexter isn't just hiding from innocent bystanders, but also navigating alliances with people just as dangerous as he is. Those shifting dynamics, friend one moment, enemy the next, create the kind of volatile tension that keeps audiences second-guessing every scene. And given how much the writers love to play with moral ambiguity, don't be surprised if Season 2 blurs the line between hunter and hunted more than ever before. What fans should also brace for is tragedy. Dexter's world has never been one where happy endings last. Every moment of peace has always been followed by devastation. And Resurrection isn't about to break that tradition. If Season 2 wants to leave a lasting mark, it will almost certainly take something from Dexter, someone he cares about, some fragile piece of stability he's managed to hold onto. That loss will serve as both punishment and fuel, driving him deeper into the darkness he's been trying to control. And if history is any guide, those are the moments when Dexter is at his most dangerous. Ultimately, what makes Resurrection Season 2 so compelling isn't just the promise of more kills. more close calls, or more shocking twists. It's the sense that we're watching a countdown. Every lie Dexter tells, every risk he takes, every enemy he underestimates, it all adds up. Season 1 reset the board. Season 2 will push the pieces into motion, and somewhere down the line, checkmate is inevitable. Fans may not know when or how it'll come, but they can feel it building. That's the thrill, that's the tension, and that's why this season is shaping up to be one of the most intense chapters in the Dexter saga yet. As we look ahead to Dexter Resurrection Season 2, one truth becomes impossible to ignore: this show isn't interested in playing it safe. It's already proven it can bring Dexter back in a way that feels fresh, layered, and worthy of the legacy, but the real test lies in what comes next. Because Season 2 won't just be about survival, it'll be about consequence. For every action Dexter takes, there will be fallout. For every secret he keeps, there will be someone inching closer to uncovering it. The suspense of Resurrection doesn't just come from whether Dexter gets away with another kill. It comes from the knowledge that his entire existence is a house of cards, and in Season 2, the wind is starting to blow harder than ever. What fans crave most is escalation, and Resurrection is perfectly positioned to deliver it. In the original series, Dexter spent years balancing his code against the realities of life in Miami. In New Blood, he tried and failed to create a life of normalcy. Now, in Resurrection, he's somewhere in between. He's no longer the calculating, untouchable predator he once was, but he's also far from a man who can ever live clean. Season 2 will force him to face this contradiction head-on. Each episode could peel back another layer of Dexter's carefully built mask, showing us the cracks forming beneath. And the terrifying part, those cracks might not be repairable. This time Season 2 also has the opportunity to dig deeper into the moral questions that make Dexter such a fascinating character. For years, fans have debated whether his code makes him a vigilante or just another killer.